Right. So we have set on the recording. Do you have any questions? Any questions? You would kindly keep your microphone muted. I don't want to mute all and come and run a monologue. I have access to be able to mute everyone, but that is not the rationale. I want you to feel responsible for what you're doing. So if there is a question you want to ask and you are given the permission to, then you ask. Maybe something comes up abruptly once in a while, it's okay. But I don't want the interruptions too much. Okay, so we can have it recorded for you, for your playback. Okay, so let's take questions. If you have any questions, any concerns, any clarifications you see, quickly, please, quick, so that we don't have a very lengthy online session. There are no such questions. Okay, so how many of you are done with your submission, the one page, your critical submission, reading assignment? If you are done, raise your hand, please. Very good. Thank you very much. If you are done, raise your hand. I want to see. All right. Keep the hands up. For Tuesday, your deadline is before the class starts, so that's what I'm asking. Thursday will have to be done before their class starts. Wednesday on City Campus have to be done before their sessions tomorrow. So their due date is even just before the class starts on Wednesday, because we don't want you to come and discuss answers before you write. You see that? For main campus, a bit tricky, even City Campus. That's why Tuesday I'm a bit liberal with you. So if you haven't submitted for Tuesday, I can still allow up to maybe tomorrow for you to submit. Okay, do the submission, but I can know your submission time and all that to influence how we are grading. Okay, right. Thank you very much. You may put your hand down now. Do you have any questions on that one? I asked you to read it for a reason, so that our discussions will be based on that.
Yes, there's a question, madam.
Go ahead, sir. Thank you. Go ahead.
I wanted to ask, you said critical analysis. Is it good, or is it right for us to bring some of the sections from the allegory into our analysis?
For which one? For the assessment? Is it for the assignment, please? Or general life?
Assignment.
Oh, the assignment asks you for a critical summary. You can't do a critical analysis. It's a critical summary. So summarize, but summarize finding the main points of the text. I have to engage you to be able to do an analysis of it and to be able to assess it. But what you are doing is just summarizing, just that you can do a whole summary of the text. So it has to be a critical one that you pick and choose, strategically to capture what was in the text, you see, but you are just summarizing. You're not doing any intensive actual philosophical work. You're just telling me what you read, but you say it in a way that captures the salient points in the text. So it's not a critical analysis. I don't think I said critically analyze. Okay, all right. So it's as for critical analysis, you are supposed to be helped to do that. That is why there are discussions, there are lecture periods, interactive times like what we are having. Okay, so I'll help you with that. All right. Essentially, I see there's also a question. If you could do your full name, it will be fine, so that we don't have to be calling like Vicentia. There might be 3 Vicentias. Okay. Angel Techua, is there a question? Mabel Ganu, Kesua, Kesi. Hey, Kesua. That's what I see there. Benedict Abrobe, are these questions? If there are questions, kindly unmute and ask. If there are no questions, but you raised your hands to show that you've done your submission, well done. Then kindly put your hand down. Select the same icon, your hand will go down, and then we can continue. So if it's a question, Kesua, please ask your question. Or Angel Techua or Moses Anochi. Quickly, the 2 hands are still up. Can I ignore them? I don't want to do that. Moses Anochi. All right, thank you very much. So, go ahead, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Please, I wanted to ask about the critical summary. I wanted to add that can we try to bring questions and answer them in the summary? Like you asked
Let
about
me do
how
the grading,
what.
okay? Don't worry, don't worry. Let me do the grading of that one. It was just a simple summary I'm looking for, but not just summary like you would do in English. It's philosophy, so you want to highlight the main. You can't write the whole text. And in summarizing, you have to summarize in the way that captures, you see, the essence of the text. The text is trying to communicate something. So in summarize, you don't take away the important. That's what a critical summary is about. Okay, not so much work. Yeah, you have to reflect and make any analysis about it. Implications and what. No, not necessarily. Okay, it's just for me to know that you read. If we didn't do that, then people wouldn't read. You see, that's my worry. People won't read at all. They will come and you will be the first place they are hearing what the Allegory of the Cave is even about. But that will make the work difficult for yourselves. So if you have read the text, you have engaged it, then when we come and I start explaining to you and showing you how they are connected and the point Plato sought to make, then it comes a little bit more alive than if you are hearing it from me for the first time, that Plato told the story or gave a scenario to make a point. The whole thing will be new to you. Okay, so that's the rationale. So I'm just grading the effort you make in trying to summarize what you read. And I gave you the text, the play one to help you. Okay, so not worry at all. I'll grade them and release the result in due course. Upon in team, sir. Welcome, sir. Upon in team, Daniel. Your hand is up. I want to take your question, please.
Yeah, so madam, basically it's about us summarizing it and then writing our opinion on what Plato meant.
That would have been excellent to cry. You have even gone beyond what I asked. I just don't want people feeling that, you are now going to learn the topic. You can't answer a question on a topic you are now going to engage. See that? So the question asked you was just for you to be able to tell me the raw material that you have read. But if you were able to go beyond that and even made some critical analysis and ask some critical questions, all well and good. So when I grade, I'll see. But it will not be the marking scheme for determining who did well or who didn't do well. Okay, you do fine. You do fine.
Okay.
All right. You're most welcome. So that your colleagues who will join the class later online, because the submissions were done online, they should be at peace and focus on the content. We are going to discuss this, so they won't be able to submit that when they come in later. It should not be fair to those who did it earlier. But they will get the opportunity to do other critical summaries for the several topics we have ahead of us. Okay, and then that will be used to grade them. So there shouldn't be any agitation. There's no point for that. Just relax, but take every content seriously. Some want to send submissions into my email. Please, my email doesn't have a plagiarism checker. It doesn't have it doesn't check whether you submitted at a due time or not. If there is a due time for submission, Sakai will stop it if you are not coming in at the right time. You even see it. See that? That's the second thing. Then thirdly, to keep records for you. If you are submitting things into my email, you have a big problem. You see, because it will get mixed up with over 14,000 student staff. That is why you should submit it where you have been asked to. And if you are not on Sakai for any reason, when you come in, even as we speak, the registration has been extended to July 10th. But I didn't reduce the number of weeks we are supposed to have with you. The weeks are still 10 weeks. So this is the second week. If we miss it, we've missed 2 weeks. We can't say we have to wait till everyone comes in when others are in. You see, that's our difficulty. So those who will come in should be at peace, maybe school fees, maybe technicalities, maybe health, whatever. When you get in, tell your friends, when they get in, there are still topics to do. They will get the opportunity at that. Then we'll use that to assess them for the continuous assessment. Okay, Sakai Abigail, your hand is also up. Then we can now move to Allegory of the Cave. Okay, go ahead, my lady.
Hello, madam.
Yes, ma'am. I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Well, I wasn't able to enter early because I couldn't close lectures early.
No problem.
I heard you saying something. I stand to be corrected. I heard you talking about a submission. You were talking
yes,
today.
of assignment.
Yeah,
There's a
Alisa,
Tuesday group. Yes, you are Tuesday group. The instruction, the
yes,
notice
please.
said before your class. But I want to give you the Tuesday people, that extra a day. I think it will only be oh dear. I give an extra day for you. So God willing, tomorrow you are still able to submit. I will find out. You see, you don't know. You think that the thing is still accessible. I'll find out because you are in a group. You are in a Tuesday group online. So when I pull your submissions, those that were on time will come. That is why just keep the rules. But it's only fair that we allow a day extra. Remember, you had your time before the Thursday people. So when you had your time on Tuesday, you had a whole week before the next lecture. Thursday folks had theirs. They will have a whole week before their next. So you lead. That is why your submission too will lead. Okay, but I can give you up to tomorrow, Wednesday. So you submit with City Campus Test together. Okay, if you haven't done so already. All right, so let's discuss. But I'm able to tell who is able to enrich their essays after our discussion. I can tell because I know submissions that have come in already. Some have even been marked. I just haven't released them to you. I saw it as at last night. I had already seen 13 submissions. Okay. So that is it by way of information. Mariam, go ahead. Mariam, your hand is up.
Madam, please, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Auntie.
Madam, please, the assignment, the notice got to us on Monday. That was yesterday. That was when I got the notice. So does that mean we had to finish yesterday and submit it before today?
Let me go to, how were you? Okay, how were you coming for the lecture? Were you coming to the lecture unprepared, my dear lady?
I was coming very prepared.
How prepared? Let's go to your course outline. Hold on for a minute. So I'll share your course outline shortly. Now I'm on your Sakai. So maybe you see my screen, everyone. This is your Sakai, just to be sure. This is PHCL102. This is your course outline. We'll show shortly.
Yeah.
Now on my screen are your details, which we went through last week. And this is what I told you, and I would want you, my dear lady, to read it for me. This is method of instruction. Can you read the last part?
To make class discussion meaningful, learners are required to read ahead of each topic and prepare a one-page critical summary on the topic to be discussed.
Please start from the beginning. Start from there.
To make the class discussion meaningful, learners are required to read ahead of each topic and prepare a one-page critical summary on the topic to be discussed. You may be required to present this summary page for grading. Learners are encouraged to read beyond the basic ones and to participate in class discussion.
Okay, so this should tell you, and I suppose you are answered.
Yeah.
Before you come to class, so when we close, you know the next topic. See the next topic here. You can't do philosophy without reading. I want to help you here. After what is philosophy, why study philosophy, which we had last week together. I told the class our next discussion will be on Plato's two worlds, the question of reality. I could have even been silent on it. We enter class, then I say, everyone present your critical summary. That would have been very abrupt. You may even have it and have left it home. I didn't want to do that. So I've given you 3 days, even some of you more than that, to submit what I expect that you will be doing. If you don't do that, I'm not even addressing you, I'm addressing the class. You are 1,000 so-and-so plus. If you don't do that, you won't do well in the course because you hide in the midst of the crowd. You see, the way when people are in a crowd, they can do, oh, nah, Joe, no. But when they are alone, they can't talk. As soon as we have a crowd that is not regulated, that hasn't have rules helping them, they will be swayed off. So I am taking those assignments and I'll grade them. Ask anyone, they'll tell, I'll grade them by the grace of God myself and release them for you. It is for you, not for me. All right. So no qualms about it. I could have entered class right now and told you, give it to me. That's the agreement I have with you. So that people come to class prepared. They have read the content. Then I can do the philosophy with them. Because the philosophy is not the story that will be told. That is not the philosophy. You have to know the raw material. Then I can help you reflect and ask the questions and conceptually analyze and show the implications and so on and so on. But if you don't know the content itself, you haven't read, it will be problematic. I went out of my way to pull the document itself, the PDF version, and posted it. It is there on your resource too, and sent you a notice. Why? Should we babysit you? No. So see, class, now my sister is done, so I'm addressing the class now. See, I put them there. Even man has no nature has been put there for you. That's the next topic after this one. And you will be amazed. People will still go and not read it. How will you do that? Because this is university. You see, you read courses in the university and get honorary degrees, my dear friends. See when it was put there, 4th July. So I want everyone to have that posture and prepare, because I'll take them and grade them. Your final exam will be only 50%, like I said in class. Continuous assessment is required of you. All right, so I think that is sorted. And let's see how many have submitted. Maybe you would want to check yourselves. This is your own Sakai, so let's see how many of you already have submission. 37 people have submitted, and that is a good number. These people, when I go inside, I know who and who they are already. And then the rest of you who need a little time or misread the notice and felt that it is by close of week, you do it quickly and submit. All right, so let's go to the content. Who is reading for us? I'll stop sharing this one and then share the content we have. What, Rita? Your hand is up. Is there a question? Let's hurry up quickly. Let's hurry up. Okay, go ahead. Rita, your hand is up. Is there a question? Rita Boating. Okay, so today we are discussing Plato's two worlds. Why are we discussing Plato's two worlds? So we can understand the basic philosophical question of the difference between what is really there and what appears to be there. Reality versus appearance. What is really there versus what appears to be there. It's a basic metaphysical question. It's a question of existence, what there is. When I gave you the introduction, I told you sometimes people engage and say, now I really know who I'm dealing with. That is even a question that straddles epistemology and metaphysics. But here, we are talking about what really, really exists, reality. How do we apprehend? How do we know reality? I don't want to bring in knowledge so that we don't talk epistemology. So you get introduced to it very well. But what is reality? What is the real thing? Those of us who have some religious inclinations, we say that the world and everything in it is passing away. This world and everything in it is not real. Then sometimes we say what is real is non-physical. It's the non-physical that manifests and presents itself in the physical. We say all these things. In other words, this table and chair and you and I that are working out, the real you, Osebedu, the real you, Vicentia, Aisha, Abudu, the real you is not the human being sitting there. The real you is something beyond you. That is why if that something leaves, the container left, they don't even reference it well. Some in our local parlance will say, Adieno, the thing is getting spoiled. As soon as the reality, that is you, the real you leaves, that's a container. The body becomes a thing. Now, these things have implications. Tuesday group, I think, or maybe Thursday morning, I asked the question, why should we even know What is real versus what appears to be real? If we know that, then what? It was a practical question. Okay, and today we are going to engage Plato's Allegory of the cave. The allegory is like a parable, a story that was told to make a point. Now I want to hear from you all. Put your official name that you have signed up for online, so that if there is a mark you've earned, I can put it by your name. Don't put Ajwa, Jenny. I won't go looking for Jenny or Ajwa, because there will be several Ajwas and several Jennys. Put your official name there. Ask your friend to assist you if you don't know how to change your name. You'll find it there. And then put your official name that you have on Sakai, so that as we interact, if there is a participatory mark, I'll go there now and put it there. One day it will count. Sylvester Osabute, your hand is up. Is there a question or you are reacting to what I've asked? What did you read in Plato's Allegory of the Cave? I see Abdul Abel. I see Collins Opoku. Is there a question, Sylvester?
No, please.
Or you are answering my question? Your hand is up. That is why. So if you could just lower those hands, if you don't mean them to be up, it will help my concentration, please. I don't want to ignore you when your hand goes up. Okay, but you can't put your hand up to if you have nothing to say like that. Okay. Abdul Kabu, go ahead. All right. So who read the Plato's Allegory of the Cave and would want to summarize it for us quickly? Anybody? Anybody? Oh, okay. Thank you, opponent team. Go ahead. After that, Louisa can come in. Upon, go ahead first. Opponent team, Daniel.
Yeah, please. So Plato's allegory of the cave. Plato used the allegory to. He started by saying a group of people who were born in a cave, and then they were chained. They were chained in such a way that they could not turn their heads to see behind them. So they were always facing the walls of the cave.
Okay.
And then there was a light behind them, which depicted shadows of things that passed behind them on the wall, where they
Very
could see.
good. Very good.
So
Keep going.
because they didn't see any reality, they pictured these shadows as their reality. And then they gave names and then meanings to things that they saw, the shadows that were depicted on the wall.
Mm.
So whenever something came to pass, or whenever people came to pass carrying things and then they see the shadow, they gave names to those things. And then whenever you could guess right, or maybe you could name a thing, they presumed you were a wise person.
Very
Until
good.
one of them was set free, and then he got outside, and then he saw that what they presumed was reality wasn't actually reality. He saw that there were real things, and then the sun was the major source of light, which gave the shadows of.
Excellent. You've done a good job. Keep going.
So when he saw this reality, he went back into the cave to tell his fellows about the new reality he had found. But they refused to believe him, thinking the outside world had made him mad.
Good.
So they refused to accept the reality, and then they criticized the guy who went out.
Well done. I wish I could say clap for him. But wherever you are, be proud of Daniel. He did an excellent job there. Touch on everything. The symbolism. So like, yeah. But he'll get his 1 point somewhere. Don't worry. All right. So that summarizes it nicely. I don't think we'll stay long then online. Does someone else want to add something? Still on the narrative, the storytelling of it. Like Jesus telling a story about the Good Samaritan. Afterwards, he wants to explain. So this person was so and so, and all the seed, the sower of the seed, the man that went to sow. So after telling you the story, before he does the interpretation, do you have any addition to what Opon said? After that, we can do the interpretation, and then we can start relating it and then discussing. That's all. Apia Dankwa. First, I said Louisa. Louisa, do you still have something to add, Lisa? Okay.
Yeah, I do.
Please go ahead. Very impressive. Go ahead. I'm happy, Pao. Go ahead.
Okay, so I actually wanted to say that actually the people in the cave and also the one that came out talks about two things.
Very good. Go.
The base of the cage actually tells us that the people inside were ignorant about the things they knew,
Very good.
because they were just naming whatever they were seeing there. And outside the
Oh,
cave, there are
Lisa, just a minute.
certain
Who has unmuted their microphone? Why? You want to put sand in our gari? I have muted everyone again. Lisa, please unmute now and then talk. Please don't unmute. You are spoiling everything nicely that we are doing here. Oh.
Okay, I was just trying to say that, or to add up, saying that there are two worlds outside there.
Good.
That as they are in the cave, we have the base of the cave, and we also have the outside of the cave. Please, can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly.
Okay.
Go ahead.
And I'm trying to say that those at the base of the cave were ignorant. Like they were
Good.
just naming what they were seeing, which were not
Mhm.
actually real.
Mhm.
And the outside the cave, it talks about like the world, intelligence, and like them seeing things more real than believing the material things that they were rather seeing, thinking it was real.
Good. Well done.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to add on.
Well done. Well done. So, Gideon Asante Mensa, do you know that I can easily fish you out and report you and get you off my class? Huh? Thank you very much, my dear lady. You did a good job there. So she's now putting some flesh to the narrative. She's telling us that the cave situation symbolizes something. And then outside of the cave also symbolized something that Plato was trying to put across, was trying to show us something, was making a case. And that climbing out of the cave is itself also a contribution. I don't want to be the one doing all the talking. I want your friends, perhaps who have not even looked at the text at all, to be impressed and inspired by their colleagues. They can see their colleagues running the lecture, and it is inspirational. It's called peer tutoring under supervision. Okay, so our friend set it off nicely. He didn't leave anything out. And if it's a critical summary, he did it that way. It's a perfect score, 10 over 10. Then our lady comes and she's even adding something, which is very, very, very impressive. That is what I want you to see. I'm showing you the skill of doing philosophy. Okay, not just chew, pass, and forget. Let's hear Theophilus Tete, if he has something to add. Setio, please go ahead. Still on the Allegory itself, or if you have a contribution to make on what the symbolism represents. We are glad to
Hello,
hear you.
madam.
Go ahead. Yes, sir.
Okay, madam, I wanted to just touch on what the first speaker said.
Please go on.
What I read was the reason why the people in the cave did not accept the one who came in was because after he went out of the cave and saw the real world and came back, he had to adjust his eye before he could see the shadows. So they assumed that it was the outside world that have caused what was happening to him. So that's the reason why they shunned him.
Very good. Very good. Very important intervention is made there. Something had changed in their friend that they used to be with down there, who went out of the cave and has come back. Now he's behaving in an awkward way, awkward in their eyes. Very important contribution. Well done. Thank you very much, sir. I'll take, do I have any of my TAs here online? Please, if you are there, let me know. I'll let you take records of those who are contributing, because I think the contributions are good. So they can earn a mark for that. Okay, so let me know if you are here. I'll take, please put your hand down now. Thank you. Setete, please put your hand down also. Let's take Addison Ifua. I see Addison Ifua's hand. Any addition? Go ahead. If not, Vicentia is Addison. Go ahead.
Yes, madam.
Okay. The cave from Plato's cave, we can only limit ourselves to appearance and reality. We can also talk about the fact that it also brings about the responsibility of a philosopher. So this when one of the prisoners broke out and discovered how reality is, and when he came in, it also proved to us that as a philosopher, when you discover something, you need to let the ignorant and the uneducated to know about
Excellent. Well done. Hey, my people are running the class. Oh, Charlie, well done. So it is not just the narration, it's not just the symbolism, it's a build-up. See how your friends are arguing. It's not just the contrast between the cave situation and outside of the cave. Our first speaker says that the sun is the ultimate good, the one that throws light on everything out there, which makes everything real. Inside the cave, they were only seeing shadows. Now the lady tells us, well, there is a demand on the one that goes out to see such a heavenly, pleasurable sight, to go back. You can enjoy it again. Think about what we do in church, the church folks. When you receive salvation, you are told that, well, now that you are stable and integrated, you got to go out. You see what we say? You have to go and bring others in. You can think of it from any angle. When you come to society and you've traveled and seen, when we say travel and see, you've gone and you've seen the skyscrapers, and you've seen how society out there organized, that work for them, not everything, but works for them. There is a certain demand on you if you have really been impacted. You want to come home and make an impact, get to some kids. Wait, yes, our brochure, I'm go US. This is not that, some today don't go anywhere, Moody. But you see that there is a burden on your heart. Plato's Allegory shows that also, that there is a demand on a so-called enlightened person, the one that has seen the light of true knowledge, to go back. You can't overlook that. Otherwise, the whole point of what? Claiming that philosophy is a conceptual response to practical problems of existence will fail. After you've reflected, examined, critically thought through, asked questions to unravel what is useful, bring it to actuality. That's the point. Make sure that what you know after your reflections, after your question asking, after the conceptual analysis, etc., the tools we learned in class last week, after you apply all to the situations and you discover and you realize that, no, this cannot be what justice is. We can't run a society like this and claim that we are running a just society. No, this cannot be democracy. This cannot be what we mean by family. The philosophy of friendship must be properly done. You see, you have a certain heartbeat. When you reflect, you see, no, a friend mustn't be the one who is always looking for benefits from you. That cannot be friendship. Should family necessarily be this? Should justice be thought of as this? You see, so when you do those reflections, according to Plato, that's what the Allegory stands for. You are trying to tease it out. You are reasoning. You are climbing out of the cave, like the way a religious person would say, I'm going to wait. So I'm not eating, I'm not drinking, I'm not doing anything, I'm just meditating. The non-physical part of me trying to climb up and up and up until I get a clearer vision, not a fufugbe, bankugbe kind of vision. If eating plenty banku and plenty fufu and you're seeing things, that one is the one where cows and dogs will be chasing you. But when the person says, I want everything that is of this physical body to be brought down. So I don't want to watch TV. I don't want a touch from the man or the woman, even if I'm married to him. I don't want to see jollof rice and chicken. I don't want to smell fried plantain midnight, because they are all outlets that are going to corrupt my clear vision of what? The ultimate reality. That should tell you so far from what I've said that Plato seeks to make a point, which your friends have already set us off very well with. So the story bit, I suppose you know. If you don't know, it's just a play art. I even sent you that. But the important key things that I want to stress on to help you see the point he's making between what is really there versus what appears to be there is that Plato is saying, so you can be making your notes if you need to, that our five senses, the physical, doesn't give us reality. Nothing that comes from the five senses can give us reality. If we see things, what we are seeing, hearing, touching, tasting, smelling, are not real, says Plato. I'm not a church. I'm not talking church. It's Plato, philosopher. His argument is physical things, what is given to us in sensation, what we see, hear, touch, taste, and smell, change. They can be changed. See grandma. Do you know grandma when she was young? Hey, the way the brothers were whistling at her skin was smooth. She was posh. Everything. Oh, Sisido. Oh, Sisido. You know, everything was up and standing. You understand that? Yeah. But look at grandma now. All wrinkled up. We love them for their wrinkles. But her face is not what it was then, because it was just what was given to us physically. The physical changes. You, when you were born, the physical body, you lying on your mother, is that the body standing at the washroom there, using the washroom? You check it. The baby that mommy could put diaper on and put powder everywhere. Is that the baby? Is that the baby standing at the washroom there? It's the same you, essentially. That which is in you that makes you who you are is there. But the physical part of you, which is not fixed, take note, the physical part is not fixed. It keeps changing. It can be destroyed. Apologies, but God forbid, we can lose a part of our body. God forbid it. To an accident or to some skin rashes, or your skin will wear off, or you may get something that hurts a part of you. But you will still be you, because the essential you, the real you, hasn't changed. This is what Plato is trying to put across. But to say that, he illustrates. And so that allegory is trying to show what is really there, the real things versus what appears to be there, an appearance. So that physical things that can change, that are subject to space and time. You can put this, my body, in prison and lock the door, or in my room and lock the door and say, I don't want you to go out. The children have locked them. You can't put their mind in prison. The non-physical part of them. The mind can go to America and come right down. The physical body, when it is sitting at the lecture hall, it can move. I'm showing you how he distinguishes the real world from the world of appearance, so that you don't just learn them as what? True and poor, but you can associate with them. Okay, the two worlds. So I don't want you to learn the two worlds as if you are learning a poem. I want you to understand it, then you can now apply it. His two worlds, the world of being and the world of form. You should be looking on my screen, please, if you can. Okay, the way he distinguishes one from the other. So see on my screen now, put it there. The world of reality and the world of what? Appearance. The appearance world is the one that is what? Physical, ever changing. It is always changing. Yesterday you had nails on, today no nails. Yesterday long hair, today no, but you are still you. There's a constant, even with all the changes going on. He says the constant you, the real you, is the non-physical part of you. And Plato calls it the soul. It is your soul that doesn't change. Some reference soul as what? Mind, not brain. Brain is the whitish fluid, it's still physical. But mind is the state of being, the non-physical part. And it is your mind that can be standing. Even if I physically told you, come on, sit down, and you sit physically, your body is the one sitting, but your mind can still be standing. No one can restrict your mind. Your house, if a house help, your madam cannot restrict your mind from thinking that you are a big woman. You see, because it is not subject to space and time. That is which one? The real thing. But the particular or the physical world or the world of appearance, here I'm using, if you haven't seen the text at all, you are in trouble. Yeah, I've told you. So engage the content before you come. I'm connecting for you to see what he's saying with his allegory. The physical world, which he calls the world of forms, which he also, the physical world, which he also calls the world of appearance, the particular world, the world of particulars, the sensible world, the ever-changing world. Where is it? Let me put that there. That world is not real. That is the cave. Everything in the cave is not reality. It is not the true thing. It's a shadow. Some are even not just shadows, they are shadows of the shadow. So if you bring it to, you put substance to it, Plato's point is those who may be considered intelligent, smart, who may even be wielding high offices, political, religious, what have you, based on our sensory evaluation of them, may not be knowledgeable at all. Knowledge is not physical, says Plato. So what they are giving us over there are just opinions. You can read further, you see it there. Opinions, beliefs. They are not knowledge proper, absolute, uninterrupted, true knowledge. No. That's why they keep changing. That's why the views they had keep changing. If you are depending on the senses for knowledge, you will err, says Plato, because the senses falter, they fail. You hear something, you go and say, you thought it was Dr. Miles, you go there, it's not a dog. It's a brother sitting somewhere that is talking like her. Your ear has deceived you. When you do Descartes, it will be clearer. Or you get more examples. You see something, you thought you had seen it, you go closer, it's not there. Your own dress that you bought, fresh, new dress, you didn't touch it, it's in your wardrobe. After a while, it goes bad, it destroys. But you cannot destroy tableness. What it means to be a table cannot be destroyed. But the particular example of a table, you can destroy it. You can change it. You can falter it. You can burn it. But you can't burn tableness. In other words, the concept, the idea of what table, that one cannot be destroyed. It's one. But the particular expressions of table are the ones that you can see, you can touch, you can burn, you can, dismantle. Those are not real, says Plato. So this is the point he's making. And he's saying that for us to grasp the real things, we have to get ourselves free of all information that comes to us through the senses. The less of the senses, the better for you. I've explained what the senses are: seeing, hearing, touching, tasting, smelling. If you are looking for reality, Plato says they won't come through these channels. These channels are rather corrupting what you know really. So the real concept of justice, the real concept of beauty, the real concept of good, and so on and so forth, are not what you see. They are not the particular examples of them. If I see a beautiful sister, she is a particular instance of the idea of what? Beauty. She is just a particular instance, one example of what? Beauty. Her beauty can change with one slap from Jack Toronto. Her face can change. You see? So she is not beauty. Beauty is an idea. So you can write that down. Reality is what? Ideas with a capital I. The world of ideas, the world of reality, the world of forms, capital F. You see that on the screen? You saw it a moment ago. The world of forms supposed to represent.
Dr. Mouse, please, we can't see anything on your screen.
Don't worry, it will come. I'm trying to project. Thank you very much. It's the slides I sent you. I'm trying to project, but it's giving me some troubles here. I'll get it on shortly. Okay. So I'm just saying that this is all that Plato is trying to put across. What is it? That there are two worlds that he can conceptualize. The world of ideas, which is also called the world of forms, capital F. That is the real world. Everything there is one. It's not a world that is somewhere, but how we conceptualize reality is one. Table is one. Human being is one. That is what we mean when we say it is what? A unit. Simple, one. But there can be several particular examples of what? Tables, which includes the one you are writing on, the one I have on my table here. The other one, they are the particular instance. Those ones you can destroy them, but you cannot destroy tableness. Okay, that's one thing you must know. Now he said it is the philosopher, the thinking person, the one who's preoccupied occupation is to reflect and reflect and reflect until he or she encounters the real meaning of, say, justice. The real meaning of, say, what's the thing? Good. If you see people giving to the poor, that is a particular example of what? Goodness. It is not the only good. It is an example of the good. But what is the good itself? Plato says when we reflect, we'll come to the contemplation that there is what? One simple good. Then there are several particular examples of good actions or good things or good behavior or good, etc., etc., etc. Okay? All right. So don't forget what the rationale is. How then do we attain the real nature of things? It says through what? Philosophical reflection. So that one person, you see that not many people were released out of the cave. Not many people broke away from their chains. No, not many. Because it is not easy to do that. People are accustomed to how things are done. Seeing is believing. Experience is the best teacher. That's how we speak. Seeing is believing. Jesus says, blessed is the one who has not seen but believes. So if you are not careful, you will look awkward. Because the norm inside the cave is what? If you want more, you must hoard it, gather it, keep it. That is how you get more. But perhaps if you reflect out of the cave, you see that to get more, you must rather give more. You never know. Reflection will bring it. Justice may say that in ordinary society, justice may say to each according to what is available. So we'll share equally, equal treatment for example, okay? Perhaps if you reflected a bit more and climbed out of the norm, the sensory frame, and thought as a philosopher a little, you would say that no, it doesn't have to be equal treatment of all. Like I said during our first lecture, it may have to be what? Equitable distribution, fair treatment, where you would have to discriminate. Like I said, I don't know if I said in both classes, but I may have to give some extra time to my special student if we have to work on an exam and the hours left, the hours for the exam are 2 hours. They may have to get 3 hours.
Madam,
for that
please,
same
I
exam that
can't.
you are also, for that same exam, you can't what, please? My lady, you can't what? I can't hear you. Hey, I'm
Okay.
shouting. I'm
You
shouting,
are.
pow. Can anyone hear me, please?
Yes, madam, I can hear you.
Yes, please.
Yes, because I'm really shouting. So my
Madam, we
sister,
can
check your
hear you.
earphone. Yes, thank you. You may check your earphone or use, if you are using the phone's gadget, check the volume. Maybe you've lowered it, okay? But I'm really shouting. Okay, where I am, I'm able to shout, so I'm shouting my head off. All right, so I'm just
Yes,
saying that
we can hear
as
you.
you reflect further and further and further, this is what Plato is saying by his symbolism. As you climb out of the cave, it is a question of leaving more of the information coming through the senses, running away, if you like, from dependence on sensory opinions, sensory beliefs, truths that supposedly are coming to you through your channels of experience, the 5 senses. The less of it you have, the better your vision. So if you keep climbing and climbing and climbing until there is no sensory restriction at all, you reflect, you reason. That's why one of the reasons why Plato is considered a rationalist. If you did that, then you can see the language now, you can grasp and apprehend the true realities outside of the cave. You will now know justice proper. You will know beauty proper. You will know goodness proper. Then you can now, you know what it means to practice democracy proper. You will know the real conception of democracy. What it is, the idea of democracy will be clearer to you. For you to now bring back into the cave and show people that, look, this thing we are doing is not democracy. Maybe this thing we are doing is not justice. I don't think this is what fairness means. And then you help us, those of us who are changed. All we know is that equal treatment for all, equal treatment. The nation has 10 regions, 16 regions. Okay, whatever, can divide it into 16 and share. Everybody must get the same. How? when one has just maybe 10 people in that region, and another has 300 people. How can you say the resources of the nation should be shared that way? However, someone to say, oh, but those who have only 10, they work hard, they produce this and that and that and that, and give us this. The others that have 600 people there, maybe they give us only 2 people. Okay, then we balance. So the reflection, the question asking, the conceptual analysis, the inquiry, what we are doing as philosophers, where we are not too inclined to support, this is how we do it every day. Then if you observe, you see this, we are not doing that, but we are thinking through it. We are then able to come up with what? A better view. See the language? Why a better view? Because the sun is shining. Even as you start getting out of the cave, you start knowing that, all this while, I thought I knew something. These are shadows. Then you are interested in getting a better view, then you climb. Then the sun's reflection gives you some of the shadows of the tree out there, but you realize that this shadow is pointing to something else. So you keep going and going and going until you grasp the reality. Not someone whose preoccupation is sensory descriptive study. This is Plato's point. The one that is using reflection, reasoning on what the senses give, will get a better view of reality. And then our friend Plato says, it is the philosopher that does that. That's where people get trouble with us. The philosopher does that. So until there's a philosopher king, there will be no peace in any society, says Plato, because the people that are thinking about what corruption is, so that they can take it away, are philosophers. What is corruption? If you don't know what is development itself, if you can conceptually clarify what development is, how will you pursue it and bring it to a society? So we cannot afford, says Plato, to put someone who is not reflecting, philosophizing, climbing out of sensory knowledge, easily moved by what the senses is saying, because the senses falter, they fail. I'll just say this one and then I'll take comments from you again. I know that for many years, the whole world thought that the earth was in the center of the universe. Empirical study, sensory knowledge, scientific. Several years, friends, not 1 year or 2 years, not maybe 10 years, several, many years. Everybody thought the geocentric view was the way to go. The earth was in the center of the universe and all the other, planets were revolving around the earth. Even when others saw that, no, this thing cannot be good. The people who tried to say that were killed because people's theories, the position of God's throne, the direction to pray, and stuff like that were all built on this falsehood, the geocentric view. So Copernicus and his friends, when you Google, I always tell students the Copernican revolution, you will see that Copernicus and his friends some were killed because they were seeing something different from what the empirical is saying. They won't listen. Okay, if you're a sickle cell patient, you will die before you are 20 years. The thing is not true now. People will listen because they think they have found a certainty. If you are doing critical thinking with me, I did it last semester, you would know these examples in Unit 7. The point is the empirical can fail. What the sciences tell us can fail. So if you're a doctor, I come to you, can say that, well, I see symptoms X, Y, Z inside you. And in my 30 years of experience, whenever a patient comes and has X, Y, Z symptoms, they die the next day. So, well, I've seen the same X, Y, Z. So get ready. Buy yourself a whole lot of me because you are going to die. As if they own the world. You don't speak that way. Because your study is an empirical one, the senses. Plato says, some will rely on this without any iota of doubt. They will just take it wholesale and carry it on their shoulder. It's problematic because the senses can fail. I gave you the instances of instant justice. You saw the phone on the person. Slow down because it might not be really what you are seeing. You may get some extra information that might give you a change of mind. Or it could even be that we may never get the true picture of it. But we should just know in our heart that we dealt with what experience gave us. That's what we are working with. But it could be that it's not the certainty. That's fair enough. Not to to assume that the senses teach us anything with certainty. All right. So that is what generally Plato's text is trying to put across. And I want us to read now, unless there are questions. Let me quickly get the slides now from your Sakai. Any questions, please? Give me questions if you have them. I see hands up. Essentia, did you want to make a contribution before I took the wind out of your sail like that? You
Yes,
can.
please.
Solomon Matt. Yes, go ahead. Unless you're okay. If you are not okay, then please go ahead with your contribution. Okay. I'm rewarding contribution.
Okay.
You're okay now. Very good. Thank you.
I'm okay.
Essential.
Yeah,
Let's
what
take
I
you.
wanted to say, you said it already. So.
I've said it. Oh, I should have
Yes, I
shut this my
wanted
mouth.
to say.
That's why I didn't want to start. I didn't want to start because I wanted you people to do the lecture. But I'm so inspired by Plato sometimes. All right, thank you. Solomon, let's take your comment if there is still any. Solomon Mate. Pasolo, please go ahead. If you have a comment you want to make, your hand is still up. If not, kindly drop it for me, please. Then I'll take Kabut. Oh no, Kabut is my TA. Kabut, give them marks for me when I prompt you. Thank you very much. Comfort Ameu.
Oh no.
Comfort Ameu, please. If you have any comment you want to make, kindly go ahead. Your hand is up. There are 17 hands up. Oh, I don't know who to call.
Okay.
Hey, Asempen. Gerald. Comfort,
Right.
I speaking. Go ahead. Thank you.
Yes, please. Someone spoke about the responsibility of a philosopher, and I just wanted to add up.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Yeah, that it, aside what she said, it also depicts.
We can hear you. We can hear you. Oh. Okay, let me take someone else. I think we lost Connie there.
Madam, please, can I contribute?
Hi.
Go ahead. Let's hear the other lady first, and I'll take hi. Okay, let's hear the other lady. I'll take hi. Go ahead, my lady. Oh, please go ahead. Oh.
Madam, so okay, concerning the human perception, we can say that Plato was trying to say that knowledge that is gained through the senses is no more than an opinion.
Very good.
So in order to have the real knowledge, we must gain it through philosophical reasoning.
Very good.
I guess.
Yes. Yes. You know why
Please,
he
can I
calls it
continue?
opinion? Okay, go ahead, my lady. Go ahead. I'll shut up. Go ahead.
Yeah. So from what she just said, how to gain the philosophical reason is through critical investigation or through critical reason.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I see another hand up.
It's a question. No?
Then please ask it well. I'm sorry. I got a little distracted.
Okay. You see, from what she just said, we have to get philosophical reasoning. And I'm saying that the philosophical reasoning is gotten through critical investigation or just critical reasoning.
They are all the same. Critical investigation. When I'm investigating, I'm asking questions. I'm seeking for answers for certain questions I have. You see, but I do it in a critical manner. Critical meaning that I don't put myself inside. I don't take it that, oh, it couldn't have been this person. I'm very objective about it. I don't, assume that, oh, it couldn't have been so and so person. As for him, he wouldn't do it. This person would have. No. Everybody is subject to my scrutiny. So it's critical investigation or philosophical reasoning or conceptual analysis. Conceptual analysis is key to philosophical reflection. Okay. I'll take yours. Madam, who asked the question, please? Is it okay?
Yes, please.
All right. The lady is back. Please go ahead. I found The other version of it, I think I can project that. Go ahead.
Okay. Please, I was saying that like another responsibility of the philosopher in this whole theory, allegory cave theory depicts that like the philosopher has been with those who were in the cave, so he knows what they went through and what they've been through. So he can speak best on their behalf.
Very good. He has gone through what they've been through. He knows
Yes,
how
please.
he felt so deceived at the time, but he wasn't sure until now that is out. So he knows their reaction. That's why there is an obligation on him or her to return to the cave. Well done. Well done. Let me take more queries, more feedbacks and responses. Thank you, Comfort. Ramat, do you want to react? I see Kabute's hand up. Tia, please, do you want to talk? Or someone is using your phone. Kabute Numuk Ukansi. That's my TA. One of my TAs. Your hand is up. Let me give you priority.
Hello.
Please go ahead. Yes, please.
Okay. Please, I want to add up something.
Go ahead. There are 24 hands up. Everybody will add up. Please go ahead.
Yes, please. You just said that there's a responsibility on the one who was able to go out of the cave to return to tell the others in the cave about the realities of life.
Yes, please.
But
it's an obligation. It's not optional.
In the scenario when, yes, please. So in the scenario when he returned and when he returns to tell the other people in the cave about the things he saw, they did not believe him, and if what he went out to see had gotten him mad. So when I applied to this world, you see, there are some things we believe in that are not actually true. So when a philosopher finds out the real truth about these things and the society does not want to accept this, my question is, how do you compel them to believe you?
You shouldn't compel them. You should keep knocking at their door. If they kill you, you have to allow it. Jesus was killed. Martin Luther King Jr. was killed. I told you in class. Because he was making, you see, philosophers their question is addressed to fundamentals. So you can be very annoying if you don't have the tact and the wit to do it. That's why it's always safer to reflect by asking questions. You see, I went to my class, one of my classes, and then I said, "Is this a projector?" Because we see a projector there, but essentially it is not projecting. Everything is blurred. You see, you cannot go and say, whoever put this thing here is not thinking right. Why is it? No. That would make you die very early. But you can correct, or you can intuit. Sometimes not that you want to correct. You are just bringing clarity to something. Okay, so it is a lot of tact, but you should be ready to get people who will not like you, because society likes the populist posturing, populism. Why would you have a church that cannot accommodate a certain color of people? Then the thing that Martin Luther and his folks fought against then is that thing, discrimination. And it was so okay for society to the point that when you want to raise an objection, it is like you are the problem. You see that? But with time and with constant advocacy, in the past, how many women parliamentarians did you have? They say the place of a woman is in the kitchen. What are you, Ramat, doing in the philosophy lecture this afternoon? You see, but with advocacy, continual reflection, you have to continue to let the people see. How? By empathizing, because you have been there before. Are you going to waste all your money to pay school fees for a girl who will be somebody's wife and will be subject to that person? You're wasting time. Take care of the men. So all 6 girls in the home will work, go to the farm, and the brother will be at home. They will pound fufu and put in front of him to eat. Everything else he will get, in the name of the kind of system that was being run. I said something, I don't know if it was the Thursday group or critical thinking, I'm teaching everywhere. But what I said was, look, someone is sick, the person needed 30 cedis to get antibiotic and be well. He or she couldn't get help from family, from friends, everywhere. The person passes. They come and take the body. and put in a fridge that costs 200 cedis a day to pay for, and keep the body there for 3 months. That we are coming to give this friend of I was social and political philosophy yesterday, level 300 philosophy, so that we will see that this our brother came from a home. What? What is the wisdom in it? The person is dead. Now we will go and get all kinds of drinks, all kinds of takeaway bowls. People will get busy traveling from wherever to come. So we come and do the 1 week, then 40 days. I mean, so many. I don't want to say it because we are recording this, but you just can't fathom what at all is wrong with us. I'm included. The philosophy is so small, gullible. My sister, so the point is, yes, if you go and tell Ibushapeni what I'm saying right now, and I can say this one is my own thing. When I lost someone very close to me, I said, look, people, I don't have these people, this your long processes till the person is tired. We respect the body only because the non-physical part of her, which is what matters, inhabited that body for all the number of years he or she was on earth. That's why you won't go and put it in the boiler and let birds go and eat it. If not, you would have done that. Because this is now container. There's nothing left, like the milk. When you pour the milk from it, will you put the milk tin in your wardrobe for decoration? You will throw it away. It's boiler. But we are just giving respect to that body. So this extensive, unwarranted waste of resources, time, energy, you keep deepening the pain of the persons that have lost their mother or father or daughter. It's just neither here nor there, respectfully. But how will you say this to the Bushapeni, who is waiting for the Nsawa table, where the donations will come? Even banks give resources for funeral, because at the donation table, they will recoup their money. They don't give to businesses. The whole system is sick. Who is going to say this? Me or you? So I understand you when you say the way people will resist reflection. What I've just done, I didn't meditate as in, project my soul out of myself to some strange world somewhere. It is reflection. Reflect on the thing. You say you are a nurse, but the sick person is entering the hospital, and you are sitting there, and you are complaining about how the blood is spilling on the bedsheet. Nurse. You see the problem. So if you are just reflecting on what you are, you're a nurse. You won't do that. You won't say what you are saying. You nurse things. You take care. Nurse. You take care of the thing. So my dear sister, yes, society, and especially society that is heavily opinionated, all they do is sensory-based. They give funds to those who came to put big money there. Hey, then that person will be the hype, this. And so corruption will be extreme. But if you were thinking, reflecting, and asking the pertinent questions, we will rather value certain things than others. As Plato says, we will have some clarity, and we will climb and climb and climb until we have a society that is self-governed. You yourself, you have reason inside you. So when you're doing something that is wrong, you cannot go and let your WC, what is the lines? I don't know how to say it. When you flash where it passes, you direct it to someone's entrance because you are rich. Who should come and tell? If you reflect, you know that way, and yet you direct that you are doing galamsey, for example. Okay, let me pause here. So my sister, I agree with you and others who have shared the same sentiment. Society will resist anything that is coming to shake the foundations. Ask questions that makes it look as if you are wrong, because they are so accustomed to it. Now, don't we hold on to the heliocentric view? It's the sun that is in the center of the universe. That's what we know now. But for years, if you read, it's over hundreds and hundreds of years. We were living with that deception. You want to tell them it's not true. Look at the movement of this. You say, shut up. You know how many years it took these big men to arrive at that? Senses, opinions, no question asking, everything gullible. They swallow. They are going with it. We need thinkers like yourself and myself who tactfully point out some things to people for clarity. Thank you so much, my dear. I've forgotten your name. My sister, I've forgotten your name. Ramat, I think. All right. I'll take 2 more and then I'll go through the slides and take the rest. Keep bringing your commentaries in, okay? I'll take
Hello, madam.
Yes, sir.
Madam.
I've
Yes.
raised
Is it
my hand
Arafat?
for a while now.
I'm so
Yes,
sorry.
yes.
Arafat, go ahead. Arafat. The hands are many. Forgive me. Arafat, go
Okay,
ahead. Talk, please. Shut up. Talk.
okay, madam. After reading the text and then hearing all the contributions from my mate so far, I think this is my little that I have to add, and I stand to be corrected though.
Please do so. Go ahead.
Okay, so it's just in a way to say that maybe if you take a situation or a scenario and then you have to maybe derive an analysis or something for it, maybe first of all, you just have to take a critical look at the whole thing, analyze it, and then try to put yourself in the whole situation, and then bring out or conclude an unrefutable point that could be able to convince people.
Yes, that's the approach to take. But as to whether it will be unrefutable, I doubt. Then it means you have become like God. But you may have a better way. Better means it's comparative. If you compare yours to what is happening, it might be an improvement. Then maybe Gladys would also come with a better view. They will say, oh, okay, then we can do it this way. Then maybe with time, Godfrey will say, no, if you look at it this way to help. So then it is like we are all collectively climbing out of the cave. But when we are so stagnated, and Plato's emphasis is on what? The senses, experience-based knowledge. Yes. I saw him, therefore I have proven. I heard it, therefore. And so the person is not thinking, it's not reflecting, so asking any question. That is what Plato says. That one is not even real. The realities are not physical. Okay. So continue, please.
All right. So, madam, I have a question.
Go ahead.
You said something in the presentation. You were like, when you give money to the poor,
yes,
that doesn't mean you are doing the actual good. It's just an example of the good that you are doing.
Exactly. So the point is,
my question is,
sorry, please finish.
So, all right. So my question is, okay, to you, the individual involved in the act, you think, oh, I am doing good, but to somebody or to a philosopher, that is just a part of a good that you are doing. So how then will you know that, okay, I want now to do the actual good?
Oh, okay. So the point there was that it's just one example. It's not the only good. It's good to give to the poor, but it's also good to sleep early.
All right.
It's also good not to take somebody's husband. So there will be several examples of good. Therefore, it means there is something about all these acts that makes them what? Good.
All right.
And our beef, what Plato wants us to look at is then what defines goodness. So that when we see another act that is good, we can tell that, oh, this one too is good, apart from the ones we know. So he's focused more on the essence, the form, the reality, not the particular examples. That's the point I was making with that. Okay, thank you so much. It helps us bring it out. Oh, go through the slides. I'll emphasize
everything. Thank you, madam.
No, you're welcome. Yes. Now people won't let me call them. You beat me up. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yes, sir, madam. Yes. Please be patient. The one who said dog. All those who are saying madam, keep quiet. The one who said dog, talk.
Dog.
Yes, sir. Go ahead. I said you said madam, keep quiet.
There's one thing that I learned about the allegory of the cave.
Yes, please.
And then which states that as students we shouldn't laugh at people who are confused.
Yes.
Because there are two things. One might be from a point of clarity to a point of lacking clarity. And then at that moment, we should be trapped for those kind of people. And then there is another whereby one could also be from a point of lacking clarity to a point of clarity. And then at that moment, we should be happy for that person.
Yes. Oh, who is this? Who is at the background there? Hey, I'll beat somebody up. Me, I beat people in the spirit. Tell the person doing that to stop. My friend, just to even add to you, sometimes the one you say is not doing well is the one that is rather doing well. Just like the people in the cave felt that this guy who has come is behaving strangely. Now he can't even see when he's walking. He can't see the shadow. This is how symbolic. You, the one that sometimes may look like you are not really conformity, belonging. becoming a part of it. Perhaps the person is seeing something that you cannot see. The person knows something that you do not know. I mean, you see how the very well-endowed rich guys outside there, expatriates, you see the phone he's holding and you'll be shocked. You will think he doesn't know phone. He will just have a very simple, especially the business-minded, a very simple phone. You know, not no, especially our Asian friends. He's not parading riches, but if you go into his account, you'll be shocked. Ghana, finish one farm and harvest some small cocoa and get money. Come and see this black man. You see? So the point I'm making is sometimes the person presents himself in a certain way, or the way the person is even behaving, or the kind of question the person is asking may seem to the generality of the class or the populace or the group that, oh, this guy doesn't know what we are talking about. But he might or she might rather be the one that is seeing some light up there, but is struggling to climb out because he's accustomed to the place. So we have to be very patient and hear everyone out and tease out something. Even the seemingly empty contribution may have something that it is telling us. Thank you so much, sir. Let me take Sakodi Abigail. Please let me take Sakodi Abigail.
Madam.
Moses, okay, Moses, go ahead. Moses, go ahead first. I'll take Abigail Sakodi. I'm projecting
Madam, what I learned from
alongside.
Madam.
Moses, go ahead. Moses, go ahead.
What I learned from the Allegory of the cave is that we should try and leave our comfort zone. We should try and leave our comfort zone because looking at the scenario, the person who went outside to was exposed to true reality came back to tell them what he saw, but it was like them they're too comfortable in their comfort zone, so like they didn't want to believe him. That's what I learned from
They even like the chains of imprisonment. Yes. They loved it. And they won't move. They are seated one direction. He moved though. That's how come the chain came off. Then he stood up. It was not that someone set him free. He moved. So if you are there, some of the things you want to ask questions, you want to check. Could it be this? Shouldn't we do this? Just so that just in case you may change some of the doctrines in the church, maybe. And make it, not that you are watering it down, but you are making it a bit more functional, given the circumstances of the time. Thank you so much. Please let me take you through the slides. I want to make sure you haven't missed anything philosophical yet. Okay, then we take more comments. You can keep your hands up there.
Hello,
Okay.
madam.
Yes, sir. I will come
Hello,
to
madam.
all of you. Don't worry, I'll take all of you. Just let us go through 3 slides. Then I'll take a question or a reaction. Then I do another 3 slides that way. So that I'm sure I've covered everything. I want to make sure you are well covered on the slides prepared for you. Okay, it's a good deal. Don't worry. So on our current slide, you see that slide number 2. The first one told you that this is a question of metaphysics. Don't forget, one of the branches of philosophy that deals with the question of what reality, what exists, what is really there. Don't forget it. Okay. And then the second slide is telling you, giving you what the whole presentation focuses on. You see that these are just pointers. Look at how they were done so that you don't have to do any complex reading. But then the discussions will bring them to light for you. Okay. So the question of reality, then Plato's allegory of the cave to bring that out. Then, so I just had to disable everyone's mic. You see, I normally don't like doing that. It makes it a monologue, but people are still interrupted. So I've disabled everyone's mic. When I finish the quick run through the slides and making sure I've mopped up well, then I'll enable it and then you can talk. Okay, please forgive me. I have to do that. I was just saying that. So if you look at, where is it? Oh dear. Plato's Allegory. I'm referring to the slides now. Oh. There are too many things on my on my screen. Oh. So when I change screen, then I'll have to keep looking and looking and looking to find yours. That's why I really wish you wouldn't obstruct my work like that. When you do that, you delay yourself. Where are we? Okay. So this is it. I'm talking about. Give me a minute, please, folks. Yeah, there is it. Okay. Outline. The outline is a question of reality on metaphysics. Then you need to know Plato's Allegory of the Cave, which you have done a good job on, and I'm tempted to give everyone a mark. I'll confer with your TAs to know which mark to give you. Then Plato's theory of the forms. The forms are what? The essences, the realities. Everything has one essence, one form. That's why we describe Plato as an essentialist. So all the particular tables you see have only one real what? Essence, which is what? Table, the idea of tableness, if you like. Human beings, no matter our color, shape, hairstyle, face, whatever, we are all human beings because we participate in the essence, the real form. Capital F, we use capital F. If you use small f, you are talking about Aristotle's forms. They are different. If you want to write the world of ideas, you have to use capital I to represent Plato's world, because that one is his real world versus what? Appearance. If as soon as you write small f forms, you are talking Aristotelian forms, and it is relatively different from this one. Okay, so we will go through quickly and see what it has to say. Monologue. So look at that. It is in a branch of philosophy that you saw last week on the screen, that it asks the basic question of what things are real. We did that. You can have monism, dualism, pluralism. Learn those. These are isms. I don't have to use a lecture time to tell you one line, things like that. But you should look at monist, one. Mono, mono. Monocotyledon, if you remember. Mono means one. So they believe that reality is composed of one thing, monism. Dual, duality, two. Dualism, they believe that ultimate reality is what? Two things. And then pluralism, that's ultimate reality are many things. And all these isms, you must know them fingertips for your multiple choice questions, hopefully. Okay. This is some background on Plato to help your understanding. Because of my special student, I try to touch on them a little here. In the ancient Greek philosopher, he was the student of Socrates. So think of maybe Peter and Jesus Christ of the Bible. So Plato is the Peter, and Jesus Christ supposedly the Socrates, who wrote nothing about his own self, but his student wrote about him. And then Aristotle was Plato's student. So that is the chain of command. Okay, a philosopher and a mathematician he was, founded the Academy of Athens. All this, when you read around, you will see that they are just to make. Then there's a pictorial view of what? The Allegory of the Cave, just for some of you to picture it. The fireplace, all this while they thought where the fire is, this fire is throwing a light of shadows over here. So they thought they are in a very enlightened world. They were still in darkness until our friend ascends out of the cave. I don't know what sparks it up, but I think that if you make an attempt at grasping the reality will reveal itself to you. Okay. Plato's theory of reality. Plato uses this allegory of the cave to show what, you have it already, the relationship between what appears to be real and what actually is real, appearance and reality. Things are not always what they seem. In level 200, we'll do Russell's appearance versus reality, and you'll see an elevated discussion of that. The relationship between belief, what you believe, and knowledge, what you know. Knowledge is real. Knowledge is simple. One, it doesn't change. Simple here means it is not complex. It doesn't have many parts. It's one. Okay. One means perfect. It doesn't change. Okay. Whereas belief can change because an appearance, opinions change. So the allegory was meant to do that, and also to emphasize the responsibilities of the philosopher. So see the various balls you see on your screen: baseball, football, tennis ball, lawn tennis ball, whatever. They are all balls, but look at the different forms and shapes and colors they have. But essentially, they are balls. So there is one thing in their being. There comes the world of being. You have seen that expression. Why Plato describes the real world as what? The world of being with a capital B, B-E-I-N-G. That world, everything is. I am that I am. See that? Everything is. Whilst the world of becoming, which is the appearance world, or the physical world, or the world of sensation that I have showed you, everything in this world is becoming something. So you, this fine sister, like myself, we are only becoming grammars. And grammars are only becoming, corpses. And corpses are only becoming maggots. And maggots are only becoming, everything is always becoming when it is a physical. Okay. So see, I said that there is something in the being of all these balls that make them ball, regardless of their particular differentiation. That's what Plato wants us to focus on. He says, focus on extracting or contemplating or coming to what? The reality. So you may be tall and I may be short. You may have long hair and I may, and all that. But essentially, we are souls. So our physique doesn't matter. That is why if someone lost his or her limbs and he came, you will still be able to say that this is Sasimisi. It's just that he has lost some accidental parts of a feature. Okay, so there is the essential part, which doesn't change, it's fixed, which is the form, which is the essence, which is the concept. See how many words I'm using? I'll ask you all these things. And then there are the accidental features, which are the appearances, which can change, which are not perfect, etc., etc. Good. So Plato's form, I read it quickly. According to Plato, things which fall under a common name like ball, chair, maybe not just a common name, but things that essentially, look at that word, share essence. The things share an essence, such as what? Ball, chair, table, bed, must have something in common by virtue of which they are called by that name. So there is what? An armchair, there is what? A study chair, there is something chair, dining room chair. This, so far as it is a chair, we don't care the particular, whether it's wooden or plastic or metal, it's essentially what a chair. There's chairness, the idea of chairness, which is what being expressed in these different particular instances. This something in common is the essence of that kind of thing, which Plato calls the form or idea of that. You see, both of them are caps. Don't forget that. Plato holds that there are two worlds. I've said all of that, so I'm reading too quickly to help your understanding and your summation. Okay, the world of being, reality, and the world of becoming, appearance. World of being, this world is composed of realities called forms. World of becoming, this is the ever-changing world of what? Sensible object. That world is forever changing. It doesn't change. It doesn't remain static. It's changing. You go and look at that your shoe that you bought some 3 years ago. Go and see how the shoe has become dilapidated. There is a car that people fought over and nearly killed themselves. Go and see the state of that car. Some have even become ashes on the road there. Go bent. Okay, because it is a physical thing, it will change. It is subject to space and time, and so on. It's distractible, not the reality. The reality doesn't change. You can't change tableness, but you can change a particular table. Okay. It's also called the theory of ideas. His theory of form is also called the theory of ideas. Why? Because the reality is not physical, it's an idea, it's a concept. That's what Plato's point is. The theory of forms is the belief in a transcendental world of eternal or immaterial and absolute things. Transcendent means it is beyond the restriction of what space and time. I told you my physical body is restricted to the lecture hall. If I come there, if I'm seated, I can't sit somewhere else physically. But my mind can. I can be sitting at the lecture hall, my mind is checking my rice on the fire. My things are on the line. I didn't remove them. How will you restrict that? It is not subject to space and time. Okay, so it's transcendent. It goes beyond space and time. What else is there that should be taught? The form of something is what the thing is. It is the essence, the nature, the essential structure, the object of what definition. Okay, essence of a thing is that which makes a thing what it is. Learn this because we'll do a Tega next week. And you see him making a case against fixed nature that of a man. He thinks that man doesn't have a fixed nature. This is Ortega. And he's going to make a case. And by that, he's reacting somewhat to what Plato's essences, that things have essences. Every human being has something in him that makes him who he is, distinct from the other, and so on and so forth. Ortega say, I beg your pardon. Hello, human beings are not stones. It's going to make a case. So we want to understand this so that as we build on our narratives, we'll get the connections, okay? Plato says everything has that which makes it what it is. So there is something in the phone you are holding which makes your phone a phone and mine also a phone and your friend's own a phone. I mean, some phones, when you see that the phone has suffered. Hey, phone are break, body tattered, screen strangled, but it's still a phone. You can see some Okulam Pika, very dilapidated. And yet it moves people from one place to the other. You can check a station workers. I don't know if they've changed it. And people in those times, the trotro. I mean, the car is slanted half down like that, one half down. It still moves a car. Then another one to come and pass, fresh, full AC, everything. Well, the air condition and the radio and the type of wheels you have and all that are good, but they are not contributing anything to the essence. Essentially, you are all having a car. Now, if this fresh car stops, can't move, it has lost its essence. We don't care how many fresh, windscreens and how tinted it is and the AC and all that. If it cannot move, the essence of a car is to move people, transport people from one place to the other. Then the Okulampi will be more a car than yours, no matter how tattered it is. Okay, that's what Plato means. So you can be the richest, freshest big guy. The day the essential you departs from the container body, you will not sleep on your own bed. We don't care your status. You see, that's the point, because the thing that is so important, that makes you who you are, has departed, and you are now dead, and you have become an empty human body lying there. They will go and put you in a fridge and pack you one on top of the other. Respectfully, I want to say it in a way that will enter your bone. You see, so when we are all over the, don't touch me. Hey, please don't touch me, sister. This body in a container. We'll throw it away. Okay, doesn't mean don't take care of it, but don't overtake care of it to the detriment of the real you. All right, so essences, you can tell what Plato's focus is and all that. Now, all the things I said, see on the screen, Plato's form, some features of his world of forms, or what he calls the forms. They are what? They have self-predication. Go to tutorial and tell your TAs, the 60 fine brothers you have there, that I said I have left self-predication for you students to come to tutorial and engage, because I will ask you. Independent from particulars, they are distinct from the particulars are what? We have said that over and over again. Are distractible, they are within space and time, you can touch them, and so on and so forth. The tableness, the idea of tableness is not touchable. That's why you can't destroy it. The ideas or the forms are what? Perfect. They are simple. Simple means they are just one, simplicity. Unchangeable, they don't change. That's why you can't destroy it. They are eternal. They are not temporal, restricted to time. No, it remains forever and ever. Okay, intelligible. You use the intellect to grasp them. You don't touch tableness. You don't see tableness. You don't hear tableness. You only what? Conceptualize. They are intelligible, not sensible. You don't sense them. Okay, they are incorporeal. They don't have a body. They are not material. Okay, they cause the physical. So it is the idea of table that is expressed in the physical table. That is why those who are creative earn more when they are thinking to create. The person is just sitting there, and before long, he has a full bank account of money. You see, because it's difficult to think. They pay people who think more, reflect, to create ideas. Think, what do we do with our society? Okay, let's find some free SHSB and do it well, not manya manya. See that the idea, the creation is good. You conceptualize it, you throw it out there and get people on board. They lead. They don't do, they lead. They create it, put it, and get people, laborers, to come and do the work. Then they start thinking again. Look at the societies that are doing well. They are thinkers, not talkers. They think. Not just think and sit there, think and conceptualize it, make it meaningful, and give it to people to build on it. And then you move on and think. You see that. Then it is non-spatial. I've said that already. Take note of some of them. I could ask you to identify any 6 features of Plato's forms studied, so that I restrict you, then you don't read everything. Okay, we have studied. So I can say from our discussions in class, identify any 6, for example, any 6 of Plato's forms, explain them, and give any practical illustration of 2 of them. And that can be for 10 marks. 1 question. And you should be able to answer easily. Okay, you're on 12, quick. Then the characteristics of the world of particulars, or the world of appearance, or the world of what? the sensible, you know. What is that? It's changeable. I've said that it's spatio-temporal. It's sensible. Please watch. Sensible doesn't mean it has sense. We are talking about it is sensed. The five senses come to play. That's what sensibility here refers to. You see, can be grasped with the senses. It's corporal, material. It has a body, matter. It's subjective. It's not objective. Objective means distinct of you. This one is relative to us. It's imperfect. It's copied. It's not the original. That's why there can be errors on the particular. Okay. And then it is complex. Complexity means it has many parts to it. That's why it is occupying space and time. The real world of forms. Forms are not complex. They are simple. One. Excellent. How can we know the forms? A form can be grasped by the mind, but not the senses. Good. We said that. It is through reasoning that we come to the knowledge of the forms. In apprehending the form of something, the mind is acquainted with the reality of that thing and knows the truth about it. For Plato, forms are more real than the copies of them, of those that we experience in this world. The ultimate principle of reality is the good. And that's why I was so impressed by our friend who said to us, you'll get a mark for that. I called upon, I won't forget, my father is upon. So I remember, you get a mark for that, upon something, Daniel. I'll get you. Set us off very well. He went all the way from the cave out there to even the sun, and then how you return back into the cave. And that was beautifully done. Okay, the ultimate principle of reality and truth is the good, capital G. Think of God as the ultimate source of all things, the one whose being gives life to all things. So it's a capital G. Any instance of being found anywhere is traceable finally to the good. Whatever is being done, whatever you are reflecting on to achieve, justice is trying to be good. Beauty is trying to be good. You see, fairness is trying to be good. All the forms are aspiring at achieving what? Goodness. So the ultimate reality is the good. Note, the notion of the good, exemplified by the sun in the Allegory, is the highest form. The good gives things we know they are truth and makes it possible for people to have knowledge. Much in the same way the sun sheds light on things to make them visible. I would say much in the same way God gives life to his being, his creation. The good is also an ideal value. The metaphor of the sun, that's the good, thus exemplifies an interrelation among Plato's metaphysics, his epistemology, and his ethics. You see that in due course. So the picture again, to help you view it clearer, there goes the freed prisoner who is reflecting. He will even look like like someone, look at, we are all here, only him, he wants to go and do something. Then they will be stopping you from breaking the boundaries of the cave. Very, 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 very disheartening. The duty of the philosopher. Plato's allegory of the cave describes how people that depend on only their senses are analogous. You can compare them to what? People who spend their lives in caves, only looking at shadows. They don't ask questions. Everything you give them, they are swallowed. They take it hook, line, and sinker. No questioning, no reflection, no change. If you even want to ask a question, you see, it's the place of a child to only break the back of a snail, not that of a tortoise, so a crocodile. I think it's the crocodile, eh? It's not good. You have to allow people to explore. If they go wrong, you guide them back. So I will not spoon feed you. See how you ran the lecture today? We have to allow our ingenuity to be at play by very respectful and yet assertive question asking, reflection, critical evaluation, seeking to answer problems of what? Existence. Those people will come to believe that only shadows exist. And when someone tells them of the world of light above, they do not believe them. This is what analogous to a philosopher who is not believed. Have you seen someone who just received Christ or something, whatever you believe in, but what I believe in is what I can project or talk about. As soon as they can, they say, oh, this person, you see, when you went to do that Holy Ghost, look at how he's even dressing. He's dressed in Christ change. Look at how every day he's making noise in the room and all that. When people see the light, whichever form of light you're talking about, they do not conform easily. So people may not associate with what they have seen. It doesn't also mean that everyone that is behaving awkwardly may necessarily have seen the light. So we let the fruits speak. for itself. Okay, and so the conclusion is this is analogous to a philosopher who is not believed when he claims to see the world as it truly is. Finally, when those we have when those who have been liberated from the cave achieve the highest knowledge, they must not be allowed to remain the highest world of contemplation, but they must be made to come back into the cave and take part in the life and labors of the prisoners. For Plato, the philosopher has a duty to enlighten the uneducated. This can be my essay question to you. According to Plato, the philosopher has a duty. Look at the word, it's duty. It's not optional. It's not if I feel okay. It's not, no, it's a duty, it's an obligation to enlighten the uneducated. See the word? You think book knowledge means education? No. Philosophical training. You can give it any label. One that reflects. If you don't want to call it philosophy, call it spiritual, enlightenment, whatever you want to call it. Okay. But so far as you are trying to go beyond just what is given by the senses will fail you all the time. Ask the brother who broke your heart. He was the handsome guy till he broke your heart. The philosopher must show them the real causes of the phenomenon that are experienced by the unenlightened. And on that note, I release you from your caves and take and take your questions if you have any. I'm unmuting your mic and allowing you to bring all your questions. Let us put stop the video quickly. I just want to halt the video. I'll take all your questions so you can feel free to express yourself. Okay. So let's end the video. Yes, sir. I'm just ending the recording. I meant. Hey, everybody's calling me. Please let the world.
Hello, madam.
Yes, sir.
Hello,
Let me
madam.
check a
Hello,
survey.
madam.
I'll take the madam later.
I